Hey everybody, it's Katie. Today's video is something that's very dear to my heart, and that is talking about how to care for your soul after you have a baby. I did not know to do this or even really think about it. I was so busy thinking about other things that when I had my first daughter, I feel like I suffered for it. And so when I got pregnant with my second baby, I actually took some time and thought about the things that make me tick and make my soul happy. And after I had my second baby, it went a whole lot better. So today's video is going to be some encouragement and some ideas on how to care for your soul after you have your baby. As I mentioned, when I had my first daughter, it didn't even cross my mind that I was going to need to put some thought into how to care for my soul. Because if someone had told me, after you have a baby, you lose yourself, I would have been like, nah, I'm good. I pretty well know who I am. Thank you very much. But I can't explain it. When you have a baby, especially, I feel like, at least in my case, especially your first, it's easy to kind of get lost. And I feel like that's what happened to me. And so with the pregnancy for my second, I spent some time thinking about, okay, what are the things that make me happy? What are the things that make my soul sing? And what are the things that when I'm under stress or when I'm overwhelmed or whatever, what are the things that I can do that will help kind of bring me back down and bring me peace and rejuvenate me enough to the point where I can go and do it for another day. And with the birth of my second, I feel like I nailed it. I did a lot better. Not to say it was easy, but I feel like I had those things kind of stored in the back of my mind, like, okay, you feel like you're going to explode? Say, okay, husband, here's the baby, there's the kiddo, you know, we're going to go, I'm going to go do this by myself. So I want to give you some ideas and some suggestions and encourage you to spend a little bit of time thinking about what it is that makes your soul sing. Because, and I guess this is the part that I didn't really understand, when I say what feeds your soul, I mean what makes you feel like you. Because when you have a baby, it's easy to get lost. Even if you think you're not going to get lost, it's easy in the early stages to feel like there's no anchor. You have no anchor to who you used to be because your life has completely stopped and is now like just totally revolving around this little tiny person. Now, it gets better, but especially in those first few weeks, the first few months, your world literally revolves around this baby. And it's easy to kind of lose that anchor and to kind of lose yourself to where you are like, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. And that's the point of all of this, is to remind yourself that there is a light and here's what I need to do to kind of experience that again. Now, these suggestions, some of them, most of them are going to be the things that worked really well for me. And I don't know you. I don't know what makes you tick. So some of this will be homework for you to do, to figure out what are the things that really bring me peace? What are the things that really bring me joy? For me, there are a few things. And as I was pregnant with my second, I started to think about, because I already had one kid. And so I will admit to feeling a little bit lost in motherhood. As my two have now gotten a little older, I'm finding my way back again. But when I was pregnant with my second, I still had a little one, and she was 3 when I was pregnant, and so I was still, kind of in the thick of it. And so it took me a little while to think about these things, but these are some of the things that worked for me, especially when the second one came, obviously. And one of them is I enjoy, and I think most moms do, I enjoy, and I also think that I need to have time alone. And I know that when you have your baby and you've got a little tiny baby, and especially if you're nursing, it's hard to get that moment because they want you all the time. And then if they're sleeping, you're probably hoping about sleeping, and it doesn't really feel like alone time because you're kind of just like waiting for them to wake up, like, oh, they're going to wake up any minute. I don't want to start a project because then they're going to wake up and I don't want them to scream. Anyway, so one of the things is alone time. Now this could look like running up to the store maybe to buy something that you don't need. Go to Starbucks and get a coffee, or just go for a drive. Maybe, drive over to a neighborhood and drive around and look at houses. Like I kind of enjoy that kind of thing. I like to see how people do their yards. And so some of the things that I did to get that free time would be I would, when my baby was asleep, when my second born was asleep, I would say, all right, honey, I'm going to be gone for 30 minutes. I will be back. And sometimes I would just drive to a parking lot and either just hang out and watch people, or that sounds kind of creepy. I'm a people watcher. Or I would get on my phone, or I would close my eyes and not have to listen to kids. Or for some of you, maybe taking a bath alone with the door closed and some candles or some music or something like that. Another thing that really is very important for my soul and something that makes me feel grounded and reminds me that I am Katie. I am many things. I am a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, but first and foremost, I'm Katie and I belong to Jesus. And so worship music is one of the things that is really grounding for me to help me kind of like get a grip when I'm feeling like I'm So worship music. There's a lot of different places to get music. You could go to YouTube. You can go to like Spotify, Pandora. There's all these different places for music. Wherever it is that you can get that music that is going to work for you, go get the music. I like YouTube because I like to actually watch the worship, because I feel like I can be more. I feel like I'm more present when I can see the people worshiping. And even though I'm not there, it feels more of being a part of something. So worship music is big for me. A few other suggestions or ideas would be to read a book. If you enjoy reading, find a book, maybe even get it before you have the baby, as a promise to yourself that when you get overwhelmed, that you will take a minute, even if it's 10 minutes, and you'll read a little bit of your book. Another thing would be to go for a walk. And that could be with kids, but I would encourage it to be solo. You can do as long or as short of a walk as you're able. If you're okay to be out for 5-10 minutes, great. Go walk around in front of your house or something, or walk down a few houses and come back. If you can be gone longer, do a loop. See if you can get a mile in. Exercise, obviously, as we know, is amazing for you. And if being out and walking feeds your soul, put that on your list and do it. Another suggestion would be to schedule a time to talk to one of your friends. If you are in the thick of things with baby and newborn and you're just like, talk to your spouse and just say, hey, at this time, I'd really like to talk to my friend for 20 minutes uninterrupted. Can I do that? And even if you have to schedule it, do it. Because connecting with people is huge. It reminds you that you're not alone, and that even though it's been a few weeks since maybe you've seen this person or however long it's been, that there's still that connection. You still have that lifeline to your community and to the people that your tribe and the people that are around you and want you to be successful. Sometimes after you have this brand new, perfect little tiny human that you sprouted and grew, it might get to the point where you are feeling a little bit depressed, or maybe you're a little bit teary or a little bit weepy and you feel like you don't have the energy and you just can't do this, and I don't know if I want this baby, which actually that was me after I had my first daughter. It's not that I wanted her, but I didn't, but I couldn't put her back and I wouldn't give her to anyone else. And so I was like, well, I'm stuck. I have this baby, but maybe I made a mistake having a kid. Like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. So if you start to feel that way, there's two thoughts here. One is that I really feel like, and I'm not a doctor, but I really feel like that the baby blues are probably pretty common. Almost all of my friends have struggled on some level with a very light case of feeling overwhelmed, teary, just kind of frustrated. And I think a lot of that has to do with lack of sleep, and then your hormones are going crazy because now there's this little tiny life that's attached to you and that you're responsible for this. And so I feel like the baby blues is actually fairly common. Now, it's also possible for postpartum depression to creep in. Now, I'm not going to go into that a lot here because we actually did a video, and we'll put the card up here. We actually did a video with one of my very sweet friends. Her name is Stephanie. She's a nurse, and she works with lots of mamas who have dealt with this, and she has dealt with it herself as well. She had I wouldn't say the most severe case, but she dealt with it on a pretty intense level. And so not only does she know what she's talking about from a scientific and a nurse standpoint, she also has a very intimate knowledge of it because she dealt with it. So I'm not going to go into that here. I'm just going to suggest that you watch the video, even if you're like, I'll be fine. Watch it. I would encourage, simply because I'm a glass half full kind of girl. I'm positive. I'm usually pretty happy. I practice gratefulness and thankfulness and all those things. And I certainly wouldn't have expected that I would have dealt with, the touch of the baby blues and being sad. And I don't know, maybe that's like the low level postpartum depression. I don't know. But whatever it is, I dealt with it. And I'm happy. I'm a happy person. So even if it's just to get a little bit of understanding about what it is and to be on the lookout in case you start to feel a particular way after you have your baby, I would really encourage watching it. Guys, if you haven't checked us out on Facebook and you have a Facebook, I'd like to invite you to do that. We're at the KT Files and we post content every day. Sometimes I post my awesome mom fails. I don't post them all because that would be the entire page. Sometimes just the funny ones. Anyway, we'd love to have you join us on Facebook if you have Facebook. I also like to invite you to be a subscriber. If you subscribe and you click the little bell, then you'll get a notification when we do our new videos. And that is every week we post a new video, and we would love to have you join our KT Files family so you can keep up with us and be with us on our journey into family. And last, if you feel like this video was good and it would be helpful for anybody that you know, I would be honored if you would consider sharing it. That would be awesome. And if you liked it, give me a thumbs up. That's always encouraging for me too. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. I hope you have a great day and a great week, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Bye.